Let's take a few minutes for prayers and meditation. Thank you. You may take your seats. Thank you very much, councillors. Firstly, I have to mention for record purposes, this is a continuation of an adjourned meeting yesterday. It means we have not issued a notice of convening this meeting as per the rules of order. Therefore, the city manager, there will be no need for him to read the notice of convening the meeting because the meeting has been convened yesterday. Today, we are continuing with that meeting. I want to place that on record. You are all welcome, councillors. Greetings to all of you. Sikhuleke nangumakhosi aseNdlunkulu who are part of the meeting, city manager, and the entire administration, members of the public that are here at ICC, sitting on my far left. Siyanemukela nonke. Siyabonga kakhulu ukuba khona kwenu kuyasijabulisa. I know that there are a number of community organizations that are following this meeting through live streaming. They've informed me church organizations, Red Pairs associations, business organizations are following this meeting. I want to acknowledge that and appreciate all of them. We have now reconvened. We are continuing with our meeting. You remember that yesterday we adjourned when we were on item 9, dealing with the corrections of the minutes. Then it was page. Oh, okay. Thank you. City manager is reminding me that there are leave of absence that have been submitted today. I'm going to request him to read those, but I can see there's a hand from Councillor Ntetwa before we take those leave of absence. Yambos.
Thank you, Slalo. Good morning, colleagues. I just wanted to also place on record through you and through your permission that since it is a continuation of an agenda meeting, it would then mean that those colleagues who had declared a particular interest do not have to declare today. It flows from what was declared yesterday.
Okay, that's true. Yeah, you're correct. We will cover that. Thank you, Councillor Mtetwa. City Manager, please read those leave of absence.
Good morning, Honorable Speaker. Greetings to you, greetings to Deputy Mayor, the Whip of Council, the honorable members of this House, honorable councillors, ikhuleke kumakhosi asendlunkulu amakhosi esizwe. Greetings to the members of the public who have joined the meeting here this morning and those who are joining the meeting through live screening. I greet you all, and greetings to the members of the media who are with us again this morning, and then the members of this municipality, the administrative layer. I greet you all in the mighty name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. I wish to read the leave of absence for the following councillors. Councillor V.C. Xaba, His Worship the Mayor. He's away this morning on mayoral duties. Councillor O.P. Mvubu, not available due to personal commitments. Councillor H. De Boer, not available due to personal commitments. Councillor R.D. McPherson, not available due to personal commitments. Councillor H.P. Shozi, not available due to personal commitments. The following councillors are not available, they are indisposed. Councillor D.R. Noboth, Councillor J.M. Black, Councillor Rampersad. The following councillors requested to leave the meeting early. They are Councillor A.Z. Mkize, Councillor B. Shabane, Councillor Z.A. Solomon, and then Councillor N. Pachapen, not available due to personal commitments. Councillor S. Ngema, not available due to personal commitments. Councillor M. Mdlanzi requested to leave the meeting at 1 o'clock. Councillor B. Nxumalo, not available due to personal commitments. Councillor P.C. Nchangase requested to leave the meeting at 3 o'clock. Councillor T.S. Nxumalo requested to leave the meeting at 3 o'clock. Councillor C.J. Lang requested to leave the meeting at 5 o'clock. Councillor Z. Kuzwayo requested to leave meeting at 1 o'clock. Councillor B. Nduli, indisposed. Councillor A. Paruk requested to leave the meeting at 11:45. Councillor D. Mngoma, indisposed. Councillor S. Mcinega, indisposed. Councillor R. Kluti requested to leave or not available due to personal commitments. Councillor Nzondi, indisposed. Councillor Madlala S. Madlala, not available due to personal commitments. Councillor N. Webster, indisposed. Councillor B. Dlamini requested to leave at 2 o'clock. And then lastly, we have Councillor T. Mohammed, who is indisposed. Councillor I. Said, who is indisposed. Councillor M.F. Ismail, not available due to personal commitments. And then you have Councillor Pasha, who requested to leave at 3. Honorable Speaker, those are the applications for leave of absence. I thank you.
Thank you very much, City Manager. Councillors, are all the leave of absence agreed?
Speaker.
Okay, there are 2 hands. Oh, yeah, certainly, Councillor Kambole.
Thank you, Speaker.
Then Councillor Kubeka will follow.
We also request with meeting in note to Councillor Madlala Mensiwa will also revert one and also Councillor Klom. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Pega.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, bengicela ukuthi si acknowledge ukuthi Councillor Mngwango no Councillor Uzuma are not available due to party duties. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Councillor.
Speaker, Binqumalo ukhona, she requests to leave at 1, and Councillor Umkhize Vincent requests to leave at 3. Thank you, Speaker.
Okay. Councillors, with those additions and corrections, are all the leave of absence agreed? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Councillors, yesterday we declared, councillors have declared interest on item 8. All those declarations stand for this meeting. I will only invite and allow maybe councillors who were not present yesterday to declare interest if there's anyone who want to declare interest. We have seen the agenda, but those who have declared yesterday, those declarations stand and are being recorded as such. If there's none, thank you very much. We were on item 9. I remember, Councillor, you were correcting that. I think it was page. Yes, can I hand over to you to refer to a page and the paragraph?
Good morning, Speaker. Thank you. Speaker, I was referring to page 4098 yesterday when I was so rudely interrupted by the power outage.
It's 40?
98.
4098, yeah.
Yes, sir. A report of the Ethics Committee.
Yes.
The first paragraph. Prior to the report being tabled, it was merely the recommendation, Chair, prior to the recommendation being tabled, because as you're fully aware of the process, the Ethics Committee does a recommendation to the House, and the House has the final ratification. So could we please have that amended? And the last paragraph where it says, nevertheless, the report of the Ethics Committee was deferred. That's totally incorrect, sir. It wasn't deferred, it was completely withdrawn. So if we can have that also amended, please. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Councillor. Thank you for that. Anyone to make corrections? Anyone to make corrections? Refer us to a page and a paragraph. There's a hand there on my far right.
Thank you, Speaker. Ngicela ukurefer lapha ku page 4088.
Yeah, akuzwakali kahle lapha laba ngisiza ngesandla izwakali ya microphone.
Ngicela ukurefer lapha ku page ngicela ukurefer lapha ku page 4088. Kulapha ku item 1.
Page what?
4088.
4083.
88.
4086.
88. 88.
88.
088.
Yes, lapha
Yes.
ku item 1.
Let's go to 0088 4088.
Kwesel.
Yes,
So
lapha
that-
ku item 1 la ku opening la kuthi khona the speaker declared the meeting open at 16:20. It's 10, not 16:20. Item-
4088 paragraph.
Go item 1, speaker, go opening. Go to the speaker declared the meeting at 16:20.
Angiboni.
Ayikho le nto.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Anyone to make corrections? Any other corrections, councillors? If there are no correction, may I have the hand that move for adoption?
Sorry.
Yes, Councillor Kwala?
Yasihlalo ngicathu mhlawumbe uza wethu uyadideka la lama minute awe in committee. So akuwona oqala komhlangano. Ngicathu umethi umhlangano waqala ngo4:20. Sikhuluma ngawo in committee.
Okay, thank you. Councillors, anyone to declare, to move for adoption? Councillor Madlala? Councillor Madlala, move. Any seconder? Councillor Xuma? Minutes have been moved and seconded. Thank you for that. As I've indicated earlier, that I will announce so that before we deal with items, that we, in our meeting with the party whips, in consultation with the city manager and the CFO and heads of units, we've agreed that today's council will deal with specific items in the agenda, not all the items in the agenda. I will slowly announce those items and request councillors to record those items that we are dealing with today. The first item will be ethics report. After ethics report is adjustment budget. After adjustment budget in our agenda, we are going to go straight on item 2.1 that deal with the special development. Item 2.1 in our agenda that talk to the special development. After item 2.1, we'll go to item 2.2 that deal with the land use management. Item 2.2 on land use management. After item 2.2, we'll go straight to item 3.6. This is a section 116 report on the extension of the training contract. Item 3.6, section 116, the extension of a training contract. Then the last item for the day or for our council meeting will be on item 4. Item 4 dealing with the extension of the contract for the leases of councillors' offices. The extension for the leases of councillors' offices. I tried to slowly. I hope that they've captured all the items. Then after that, we'll close the meeting. Then all the other items that I didn't refer to or mentioned here, the Speaker will convene a meeting to conclude the agenda. You will be advised when that meeting will be convened. We are doing this, councillors, because we don't normally convene council meetings on Friday. Friday is a bad day for many people because it clashes, interfere with a number of personal programs. We respect that. And the manner that the meeting was adjourned yesterday. Then out of respect, we decided not to keep you long today here on Friday. We'll deal with these items only. Thank you very much for your understanding. Councillors, it means now we are going to move straight to the ethics report. I will invite the chair of the ethics report to present
Mr. Speaker.
the report on behalf of her committee.
Mr. Speaker.
Councillor Mthembu Zondi.
Point of order, please.
Yes, point of order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg your indulgence, please. In terms of rule number 27, item 11 on the agenda, I know you've made an agreement with the whips that the items will be postponed. However, on the 20th of January, in terms of the rule subsection 3, you wrote to me indicating that the city manager would be responding to the questions that I've submitted to your office. Today is the 28th of February. The city manager has not responded to those questions. Can you please give me an indication as to why the city manager failed to respond to those questions? Because you were very clear in your letter. 26th February, he must respond. Thank you.
Okay. I hear your concern and I hear your point is valid. But I do want to make an appeal to you that let's not bring that matter in this meeting today, because there is a decision from the meeting of party whips that binds all parties and everyone that for today's purposes we will deal with these issues. Party whips understand all those concerns, but the city manager is listening and he will attend to your concern. Thank you. Councillor Zondi.
Honorable Deputy Mayor, Honorable Speaker, City Manager, members of the executive and all councillors, I greet you all. Please accept our ethics report for the following quarters, which is quarter 2, October to December 2022-23. Quarter 3, January, March 2022 to 23. Quarter 4, April, June 2022 to 2023. Quarter 1, July, September 2023 to 2024. Quarter 2, October, December 2023 to 2024. Our report will be based on the resolution from our last council meeting, where we agreed that we will deal with the report as per the case of individual councillor, Honorable Speaker. I think savumelana kanjalo. We will start with councillor. The first councillor is Councillor Gwala Umzwethu Sandile Gwala. I think uphumile.
Okay.
Speaker. Yes. Councillor Gwala was pleaded not guilty on the charge of not calling the meetings, and the committee found Councillor Gwala guilty, and the Sinama resolution, I think a report is in front of all of us as councillors. Samu Tola guilty, Councillor Gwala. We are recommending to this council to support our committee resolution for Councillor Gwala. A resolution ka Councillor sa resolve ngokuthi Councillor Gwala akathole informal warning for breaches 1 and 2. That is the recommendation esicela kwi council to approve for Councillor Gwala, Speaker. I think ngizoma la ku Councillor Gwala because we said sizodila nga 111, which means we will have 2 hours of our 22 councillors. Angazi Speaker noma uwena ozoyilawula ukuthi recommendation yakhona siyawavuma yini. Thank you.
Okay, councillors, we are on page 3 to page 4. Recommendations are on page 4, item 4.21, 4.22.
Speaker.
Are the recommendation agreed?
No, Speaker.
No.
Okay, there is a hand, Councillor Mtetwa. Then Councillor Pillay. Nyambos. Yes, you can come in, please.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, in terms of the recommendations from the committee, point 25.3.2.1, the first paragraph,
Are you referring us to the same report?
Yes, Chair.
2.5,
Correct.
right?
The committee recommends. Councillor, Chair Speaker, with regards to what the recommendation has been in terms of sanction, it states from 4 to 25, we will be sanctioning the individuals on each merit, on each individual merit. So it's imperative for us to also vote on each individual rather than voting with them on a block sum. So if we intend going that route, therefore, each individual to be sanctioned, we have to vote on each individual as well. Thank you.
Councillor Pillay, maybe you're not listening carefully. Order. The chair of the committee has done exactly that. Currently, we're dealing with a report on item 4 for Councillor Kwala only. That's why Councillor Kwala had to excuse himself alone, because we're dealing with his matter now. When we are done, we are moving to the next council. We are not attending them as a block.
We are doing exactly that.
What we are saying is what is being done or presented. Thank you. Councillors, no. Councillor Mthetho, don't do this. Councillor Mthetho, lower your hand. You raised your hand, Pillay, I noted you. You then forfeited your right to speak. You said Pillay must speak. Now, after responding to Pillay, you are now raising your hand again. That is wrong. Councillor Nkos.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Order, councillors.
We will request 10-minute caucus once you are done with your hands. Thank you.
You request the caucus now?
Yes, Honourable Speaker.
Okay. Let me check, Councillor Mthetho. Yambos.
Thank you,
I will
Slalo.
respond, Councillor Nkos. Just give me a second.
Thank you, Slalo. We just want to place on record the Ethics Committee, the way councillors get referred to the Ethics Committee, and the disconnect between your office and the Ethics Committee. We will therefore be voting against all of these proposed sanctions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Mthetho. The IFP has requested the caucus, but Councillor Nkos, can I grant you 7 minutes?
4.
Not 10. 7 minutes granted to the IFP. for
Ukhuluma
a
speak
caucus.
hayi wena Babs.
Thank you. You are granted.
Babs imlangeni.
Order. Let's allow the IFP to report back to council on the outcome of their caucus. IFP.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker and colleagues. Before we report back, we like to declare the interest that in future we also want to have the same conditions like the colleagues in that site. Yeah, if we can see the conditions as such, that will be better. Honorable Speaker, we are done with our caucus. We are ready to proceed. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Councillor Amir.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Greetings, colleagues, and everyone in the House, members of the public as well. No, Honorable Speaker, I'm a bit disturbed by the utterances of Councillor Mthethwa regarding the ethics recommendations or the ethics outcomes. I'm worried in the sense that the way he spoke that he will reject, so he is preempting the proceedings. That's number one. Number two, I think he's setting a very bad presidency for this institution of a eThekwini municipality, because the success of every institution is based on discipline. So this committee, ethics committee, is an extension of this council. We are acting at the behest of the powers of this council as ethics committee. For a councillor to make such pronouncements, I think it's not positive, and we should discourage such utterances. Thank you.
Thank you. I see some hands. But I do want to remind you that we are discussing whether council approved the recommendations on page 3 or not. But I will take those hands. There's Councillor Pili, there's Councillor Madlala.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm responding to Councillor Mthethwa's remarks he made because he called the IFP to caucus, so I could not raise my hand. But I want to share the same sentiments. The Ethics Committee is a very important committee in our council that deals with the code of conduct of councillors in terms of their performance and public participation. And it should be clear, the public must also remember that the DA is represented in the Ethics Committee. And I don't see in any of these resolutions whereby the DA objected to any outcomes. So we must not pull the wool over the eyes of our community people and the public by stating that the Ethics Committee is flawed and the DA won't be supporting all the recommendations. Yet they sit in the committee and they never object to the recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, but you're a PR, Councillor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker,
Can you please speak closer to your mic?
Honorable Speaker, I rise on behalf of the ANC to reject the presentation by the Democratic Alliance through Councillor Mthethwa. Ethics committees in local government were established to uphold integrity, accountability, and ethical conduct amongst councillors, ensuring that public representatives adhere to the highest standards of governance. These committees play a crucial role in promoting transparency, investigating ethical breaches, and maintaining public trust in the municipal leadership. Now, we are, as parties, allowed to discuss any item on the agenda and to reject on the basis of the content of the report. Now, the wholesale rejection of the Ethics Committee report sends a bad signal. We would have appreciated if the Democratic Alliance was following the process wherein one item is presented from the report, and based on the recommendation, they then reject that item on the basis of, or on the strength of the argument. Now, a wholesale rejection sends a bad message about the Ethics Committee itself, and we want to plead with our colleagues maybe to withdraw that and come back on each individual item and vote against that, which is allowed to do in council and does not send a message about that. That is our plea, especially because the DA throughout the years has presented itself as the paragons of ethical conduct and meritocracy. And it's sad that when their councillors are finding themselves in the ethics report, they then rebel against the entire committee. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, councillors, for those comments. I do want to remind council that previously at this report, we used to deal with all councillors or all the report at once. There was a request that was supported by the majority. By majority, I mean all political parties in council, that we have to change the approach to deal with an individual matter. As Councillor Pillay was advancing earlier, it was a position of council that was adopted. I don't want to mention who proposed that, but council approved that approach. Now, concerns raised by previous speakers are in line with the previous council decision on handling the ethics report. I do want to advise council to respect that and continue with that approach because that decision stands. Let's deal with item by item, report by report, then council will decide on those recommendations. Thank you. Are the recommendations on 4.21 agreed, councillors?
Agreed.
As long as it is,
Item 5.
No, we don't agree.
Councillor Pulen?
Sorry, Mr. Speaker, I don't support that. So I'm voting against. You haven't asked.
You are not audible enough.
Oh, sorry. Mr. Speaker, I vote against that. I don't agree with it.
Are you voting against?
Correct?
Okay.
Because I think it's wrong.
You alone.
I don't care.
Okay. Councillor Mtetwa?
No, the DA is voting against.
Okay, thank you. Let's record that. Item 5, Councillor Zondi.
Speaker.
Councillor Zondi.
Speaker. Point of order. Are you not going
So
to
saying Speaker. Councillor Kavenda.
Are you not recording the vote? Or you're not putting it to a vote to the whole House?
There's only one DA here. There's only one DA here.
We are recording your decision. Thank you. Zondi.
Thank you, Speaker.
Order, councillors. Order, councillors. Let's not waste time. Your decision is recorded. Zondi.
Thank you, Speaker. The next councillor, Godfrey D. Pullen.
Is Pulan has excused himself?
Oh, God. Hamba Bismarck.
Mr. Speaker.
Councillors, we don't have to tell you to excuse yourself. You see the report.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
When you are moving to your name, please excuse yourself. That will save council time.
Can I just tell you that you've got my name wrong?
Councillor Zondi.
Usaphuma, Speaker.
I'm late. Can you please proceed?
Councillor Pullen, Speaker, go first. Bridge pleaded guilty. The Samtola guilty. I don't know against because he pleaded guilty. Then there's a recommendation as a council to be approved, Speaker.
Yeah, thank you. Councillor Zondi, the recommendations on...
Speaker, sorry, Speaker, a recommendation ka Councillor Pullen ukuthi a reprimand for breaching the one of the two breaches act. Thank you.
Recommendations are on page 5, 5.4.1.
Then
5.4.2.
Then 5.4.2, a charge was withdrawn.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Councillor Zondi. Councillors, are the recommendations agreed?
Agreed.
The DA objects, we don't agree.
Yes, thank you. Let's note the DA decision 6.
Keep it moving.
Councillor Zondi.
The next councillor speaker is Councillor Usandisele Stanley Sizwe Mthethwa. Angazi noma usakhona.
Proceed, Councillor Zondi.
Thank you, Speaker. Councillor Mthethwa wa pleaded guilty and he was found guilty. Councillor Mthethwa ama breaches akhe aye 3. Breach 1 watholwa guilty, breach 3, breach 2 was withdrawn, then in the breach 3.
It means the recommendation is on page 6, 6.3.1,
Guilty 1.
6.3.2, where the charges were withdrawn. Are the recommendations agreed, councillors?
Thank you.
Next item, Councillor Zondi.
Speaker, naye umthetho samvikela, we're voting against.
Yes, thank you. That is recorded. Councillor Mthethwa. Order, councillors. Councillor Mthethwa. Your language in council and your conduct is beginning to worry me.
You must go to ethics.
Yeah, order. Councillors, we are not joking here. Order. I ought to remind you that there's only one speaker in this council, there's no deputy. When I address serious matters of council, when I address serious matters of behavior in council, everyone must listen. Please, councillors. I'm now addressing council because I'm beginning to be concerned with the conduct and the language of Councillor Mthethwa. I'm giving him a warning. Mind your language and your behavior. You must be an example. You are a leader of the opposition. But today, I'm not happy with your behavior. I hope from now you will behave. Otherwise, we have to apply the rules of order to deal with your language and your conduct.
Speaker,
Councillor Zondi.
The next councillor is Councillor Kisson. Councillor Kisson benama breaches out 3. He pleaded not guilty to 3 of them. We find her guilty to 2 of them. The third one was withdrawn.
Thank you, Councillor Zondi. Recommendations are on page 7, 7.3.1, 7.3.2. Are the recommendations agreed, councillors?
No,
Thank you. Let's record the DA's
I've been warned.
opposition. Councillor Zondi.
The next councillor is Councillor McPherson. Usekhona? Councillor McPherson was pleaded not guilty to all charges. He was found guilty to all charges and he was giving the sanction of formal warning to all breaches. Or to first breach, to the second one he was reprimanded and the third one he was reprimanded, which means the first one is a formal warning, the second one is reprimanded, the third one is reprimanded.
Thank you, Councillor Zondi. Councillor Cavan, your hand is up.
Yes, Speaker. Speaker, just some housekeeping. The councillors that are accusing themselves would not know that they can come back in, that their matters been dealt with, because they are then entitled to be present for matters that don't concern them. Is it possible to have somebody at the door recall the councillor back into council. Thank you.
Yeah, my office is dealing with that. It's covered.
Thank you.
Already that is being done by my office. Thank you. Recommendations are on page 8. There are 3. Are all the recommendations, councillors, agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you.
No, we don't agree.
We record that. Councillor Zondi.
Point of order, Speaker. Point of order, Speaker.
Point of order.
Yes, Speaker. Wait and check it, Speaker, no legal, which is allowed in Utumundi, I-council fare ibuko njengezi ezimnyama njengekamthetho. We council meeting.
Ade ishinda wayibuko.
Ekabazana. Akufanele ngoba ngiqondisa umthetho ukusudlala
Umenyane.
ibuko aziphazamisi council meeting. Councillor Zondi.
The next councillor is Councillor Henri Pierre. Thank you. Councillor Pierre, he pleaded not guilty to 3 of the breaches. We found him guilty to. Okay. Apologies, Mr. Speaker. Councillor not guilty. Let's have to Pierre. Breach 1, a formal warning. Breach 2, not guilty. Breach 3, a formal warning.
Thank you very much. We're on page 9. The recommendations start from 9.3.1 to 9.3.3. Are all the recommendations agreed, councillors?
No.
Thank you. Let's record the DA's position. Councillor Zondi.
Councillor Ben, Jerome Ben.
Yonke DA la.
Councillor Ndlovu.
Somlomo, I just want to get clarity if that is allowed. I think Councillor Pierre, he was charged before and he got a sentence. Now, uthola manye. Azabe mangaka ama warning athola umuntu ayedwa la. Ngicela ukuchecka lokho angazi noma it's allowed in Speaker.
Yeah, the ethics committee is empowered by the rules and the relevant legislation to determine or to handle that. I think it's proper to allow them a space to process these councillors. Councillors might not be in a position to respond to your question, but ethics at a particular time will determine that. Thank you. Councillor Zondi.
Councillor Ben, ama breaches are 4. The first breach, he was found not guilty. First breach and second and third breach was not guilty. The fourth one was withdrawn.
Thank you. Councillors, recommendations on page level.
Ani support naleyo? Akana cala nje.
Akahleke phela Zondi. Angikwazi ukuhlushwa wena futhi. There are 2 recommendations. Are all agreed, councillors?
Agreed. No.
Thank you. Let's record the DA position. Councillor Zondi.
And the criminal and pick
I assume Councillor Chetty already have excused yourself.
Next councillor is Councillor Johnson Chetty. Councillor Chetty was found not to be guilty on breach 1 and breach 2. The third breach yakhe wathola informal warning.
Thank you, Councillor Zondi. We are on page 12. There are 2 recommendations. Are all agreed, councillors?
Agreed. No.
Thank you. Let's record the DA position. Councillor Zondi.
Councillor Landelayo, Councillor Sakhile Mngadi.
Madlokovu, I hope you have already excused yourself.
Speaker, Councillor Mgari is no longer a member of this council.
Yeah, proceed, Councillor Zondi. Wait your report.
Or the recommendation ga Councillor S. Mngadi for not holding the community engagement for quarter, for quarter 3
Point of-
January to March 2023 in terms of preamble of Schedule 7 of Municipality Structures Act Amendment. Uguti, we are recommending this matter to be closed because the councillor is no more on in the council.
Thank you, Councillor Zondi.
Point of clarity,
Councillors,
Speaker.
are the recommendation agreed on item 12?
Agreed.
Thank you. Item 13?
The next councillor is Councillor Themba Jetrom Kize.
Order.
Christoph.
Order.
Oh, Christopher.
No aibo in council. No aibo. No.
Oh, Councillor van der Berg. Christopher. Oh, Christoffel. Okay, thank you.
As the councillor excused himself,
Singipumeli.
proceed. Pumile, okay. Proceed, Councillor Zondi.
Councillor Obenama breaches our 4 speaker. First one is a formal warning. The second one is a formal warning. The third one is not guilty. Then the fourth one is a formal warning.
Thank you very much, Chair. Councillors, recommendations are 4. Are all agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you.
No, Speaker, we don't agree.
Noted, Councillor Zondi, proceed. We're item 14 now.
Councillor Uthemba Jetrom Kize.
Aw singibambeli mkezi.
Is Mkize outside?
Councillor Mkhize Obenama breach our 2 speaker. The first one is formal warning. And the second one too is a formal warning.
All right. On the bottom of the page 14, recommendations are there. Till page 15, 14.2.2. Are the recommendations agreed, councillors?
Agreed.
No.
Thank you. Let's record the DA position. Proceed, Councillor Zondi.
Councillor Mbangeni Pegisisa Mjadu.
How?
Councillor Mjadu enamacala awu 4.
Speaker,
Councillor Nyambosa.
I do apologize, Mr. Speaker, but I am told that as per what Councillor Governor raised earlier, there's no one who's calling the councillors that have recused themselves to come back when their matter is closed.
Nangebuye nje ugwala.
There's no one outside.
That's what I'm told.
We will attend that. Can the Secretariat please assist us in addressing that? Because Kulan is saying no one called him outside. Thank you for bringing that, Councillor Mteta.
Yeah, kodwa uLwesihlanu sayidinga ibriterizer speaker wangu.
Akakhomule ibuko.
Hey, bo, Speaker, Councillor Mjadu ubesolwa ngamacala u4 wona wonke simnikeza ama formal warning.
Thank you. Recommendations on page 16. There are 4. They are all agreed, councillors.
Siyayivuma.
Thank you. Proceed.
No,
Item
as
16.
form.
Thank you. Note that the A position. Item 16.
Councillor landelayo Speaker Councillor Sikhanyiso Desmond Hlongwa. Ukhona. Councillor uHlongwa ubena 2 1 bridge a recommendation kwaba reprimand. Yes, it's a reprimand.
Okay, thank you. Recommendations are on page 17, 16.1.1. Is the recommendation supported, councillors?
Supported.
Thank you.
No.
Councillor Zondi, proceed.
The next councillor is Councillor Jane Naidu. Jane Naidu. Councillor Jane Naidu was found not guilty in first breach. Then in second one, wathola informal warning.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Speaker.
Councillor Zondi. Yes, Councillor Nepen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the IFP would like to have some clarity on this matter, because according to the report, the Ethics Committee found Councillor Naidu not guilty on these issues, and she did explain to the Ethics Committee that the sanction which is now guilty is based on the fact that her laptop was not working and was with IT. Had the committee had the committee taken the time to verify this, they would have been able to realize that it would have been impossible for her to read and subsequently even respond to present herself.
Point of order.
Point of order.
Point of order.
Order.
Point of order on point of order.
Let me hear the point of order.
No, Mr. Speaker.
The point of order is
Mr. Speaker.
Council is not.
Mr. Speaker.
No. We're in a council meeting here.
Yes, we are in a council meeting, Mr. Speaker, and you can't have a point of order on a point of order.
Councillor Mayor.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. The point of order is Council is only listening to recommendation. This is not a review board where people can be represented by their. You sound like a lawyer, not a councillor.
Point of order number 3, Speaker.
Thank you. Order. Councillor Anipen. Councillor Anipen. The point of order raised by Councillor Mia is sustained.
It cannot be sustained, Mr. Speaker, because it is against the rules. You cannot have a point of order on a point of order. That is your own rules. You are violating your own rules.
Order. Now,
You said clarity.
Now,
not-
if you want to ask questions to the chair of the ethics and the ethics committee, that is a separate matter. But council can't respond to your questions.
Speaker.
Let me take the hand from Councillor Nkosi.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
If you don't want to proceed and confine yourself, Anipen, I will turn.
I'm not going to entertain what was said by Councillor May.
That's fine. Let
Because-
me acknowledge Councillor Nkosi.
Yeah, Speaker, when the item is being presented in council, that's one of my robot. We're not political robot as we are here. If we need a clarity, I do believe in terms of the rule, we must be given that opportunity. So I think that is the purpose of presenting the report in the council. So we cannot just say agreed or no. So as one of my political report, we wanted a clarity on this matter, and we have been complying on the first matter of Councillor Gwala, and will comply also on the matter of Councillor Unite as well as Councillor Umjatu. Thank you.
Right. Councillor Kavenda.
Thank you, Speaker. I'm covered.
Are you covered, Councillor Mia?
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. When Councillor Nkosi says, Councillor Anapen says, it's not a clarity when he's actually challenging the verdict. He was not there during the proceedings. So he cannot challenge how the committee arrived at the verdict.
Yeah,
So
thank you. Yeah, thank you. That's why I ruled that Councillor Anipen really was out of order, because he was not moving to the lines Councillor Nkosi is arguing. He was on the opposite. Thank you very much for those comments. Councillors, are the recommendation agreed?
Speaker, agreed.
Thank you. Let's move.
No, we don't agree.
Councillor Zondi.
Next councillor is Councillor James Herte.
Thank you, Speaker. I'll leave. Please call me back when I can come.
You should have left earlier. Thank you. Thank you for that. We are now on item 18. There are the item of 22, 24.
We are recommending,
25,
we
yeah,
are
25.
recommending to withdraw all the charges for Councillor Hector.
Thank you. Recommendations are on page 18. Yes, 18. Are the recommendations agreed, councillors? Yes, thank you. Councillor Zondi, item 19.
I vote on the A speaker.
Sivotile stay yes.
The next councillor is Councillor Pelele Gabriel Nene.
Right. This councillor Nene excused himself. Proceed, Councillor Zondi.
First bridge, formal warning. Second one, formal warning.
Thank you. We are on page 19. There are two recommendations. Are both recommendations agreed, councillors?
Agreed.
No.
Thank you. Councillor Zondi, proceed.
No.
The next councillor is Councillor Lutando Bulelan Jali.
Page 20. Recommendations are on the bottom of the page. Councillors, are both recommendations agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you.
No.
Chair, proceed.
The next councillor is Councillor Sibusiso Blessing Ele. On both breaches, we are recommending informal warning for councillor.
Page 21, two recommendations are all agreed, councillors?
Agreed.
Next
No.
item, Councillor Zondi.
Councillor Amir Abdul. Councillor Abdul.
Abdul ngiyakaza phela.
We are recommending on 3 breaches informal warning. Informal warning.
Right. Councillor Abdul is no
Councillor
longer part
Abdul.
of the council.
Why is that called?
Order. But the report, when it was prepared, the committee was not aware that Councillor Abdul is no longer
It
part
was
of
part
council.
of the, yes.
Right. Thank you very much. Let's move to the next item, Councillor.
Councillor Nkosiyezwe Moya Wezwi Mhlongo. Ubani lo? Mhlongo. Yes. On the first breach, we are recommending he was not guilty. On the second one, a formal warning.
Thank you. Are all the two recommendations agreed, councillors?
Agreed.
Thank you.
No.
Councillor Zondi.
The next councillor is Councillor Fatima Ismail. Where is Fatima? You win. No to Fatima, lo. Fatima Ismail. On the first breach, it's informal warning. The second one, informal warning. And the third one, informal warning, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor Zondi. Are the recommendation agreed, councillors?
No.
Thank you. Let's record that. Next item, Councillor Zondi.
The next councillor is Councillor Tabsile Gloria Zungu. Angishintshe.
Proceed.
Kuwona womathathu Speaker, we are recommending a reprimand. We are reprimanding her to 3 of them.
Thank you. Those recommendations are contained on page 26. There are 3. Are all the recommendations agreed, councillors?
No.
Agreed.
Thank you. We are done, Chair.
Yes, Speaker. Ngaphandle kokuthi we want to council to note kulamakota we still have outstanding 3 councillors to be dealt with. Thank you.
Okay. Recommendations for noting are on page 26. There are 3. Are all recommendations noted, councillors? Thank you very much. Now we're done with the ethics report. Thank you. As the first item in our agenda, let me consult my team.
Speaker,
Yes, Councillor Zondi.
kunama recommendations lapha ku page 26 of the report ukuthi can I read those recommendations, Speaker?
Yes.
Awu 3 25.3 to 2.1 that the council notes all the
25.3.1.
25.3.2.1.
Okay.
Uyawathola, Speaker? Ekugcineni epageni lokugcina.
Ngizama lokugcina.
Yes.
Angithi lokugcina fike libe nama recommendation ka Council uZungu awu 3.
Kunale ethi i-council inote ukuthi uSpeaker must inform the MEC of corporate governance and traditional affairs.
25.3.2.2.
Within
Yeah.
14 days of fine years. So we wanted council to note those 3 recommendations
Yeah, ngithi
on
mathathu.
page 26.
Yeah, ngithi mathathu swanotile,
Yes, yes. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks, Councillor.
Sure.
Swanotile. Councillors, we now move to our next item. As per the agenda, we said the next item will be the adjustment budget. We are now going to move to the adjustment budget. I believe the acting mayor, in this case, deputy mayor, will present the adjustment budget. Yeah. Because we have not developed the list of speakers, I'm going to take hands from the floor. Those who want to engage on the adjustment report, I will take those hands from the floor. But
Honourable Speaker.
let me invite the mayor to table the report.
Honourable Speaker, Whip of Council, Honourable Councillors, CM, Sikhuleke kumakhosi asendlunkulu, members of the public, members of the media, allow me to table the second supplementary agenda, item 3, the adjustment budget. I thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Let me note hands. I want to note hands for those who want to engage the report. Okay. I can see now all those. Councillor Peck, you're number 1. Councillor Kaven, you're number 2. Councillor Nkosi, you're number 3. Councillor Ndlovu, you're number 4. Angilboni Laport will be number 5. From Okpega, yes. Hey, Pega mnyanga namhlanje. Udleni. Councillor Okpega. Then will be number 5, eh? Ukubheka number 5, Pile number 6, Freedom Front Pass number 7, Councillor Mkhize, you are number 8, Madlala number 9, Deputy Mayor number 10. Yeah, those are the hands. Let's start that order, Councillor Peck.
Thank you very much, Chair. Good morning, colleagues. Quite a few things that are of concern, and I'm just going to go through a few points that one would have to highlight and also maybe solicit some answers going forward. The first one is obviously concern of the loss of the 377 million of the transport grant, and one would have to ask the question why. How is it that the taxi industry seems to have dictated to the point where we have lost this grant and are unable to complete the IRPTN that's been costing the city millions, if not billions already? The second one is the question that goes out towards the infrastructure levy that's been leveled by the municipality over the last 3 years. And one would have to ask, when are we going to see a report that depicts how this money is being spent? Because infrastructure levy means it can only be used towards capital expenditure, cannot be used for maintenance. So at which point are we going to see a report? Because that should be somewhere in the region of 300 million plus, and there are indications that this levy is going to continue into at least the next 2 to 3 years. So the public would really like to know, where's their money? Is it being spent on infrastructure to those who are participating? What have we done to it? Is it being ring-fenced? How much is spent? Where is this money? And how much is the total? The next one, we again see 64.8 million being allocated towards EPWP, an unfunded mandate. We've been reprimanded by this by the Auditor General in more than one instance, and yet once again, we seem to find savings to fund an unfunded mandate. It's not about who benefits, but it is how we are managing it. The next one goes towards the electrical contractors, and while one is elated at the fact that 165.5 million are put towards it, one would have to ask, why do we find ourselves in this position? And then again, that question, where's the money gone? When this unit was profitable, it banked and contributed in a region of 800 million to the city coffers. Around about half of that was supposed to go in as a disposable income to sustain, but the other half was there to supposed to be to sustain the electrical unit and make them more viable and give them additional resources. The fact of the matter is, as we stand here now, or sit here now, and we had to go to the electricity department, we will find that the top 2 floors of the digital control center that handles medium and high voltage has, since it was completed several years ago, not been handed back to the municipality, and it's standing empty. That cost us 140 million rand. Yet now we're running around here with electrical contractors, and one would have to ask, at which point are we going to put money aside that we can use those 2 floors that the Department of Labour has indicated they're going to condemn? So we do not have full use. If medium and high voltage comes to a grinding halt, so does electricity supply to the entire city. Another concern is the 161 million towards hiring charges for water tankers. And once again, one would have to ask, when are we going to get it right? We cannot continue hiring tankers. We need to fix the infrastructure, which brings me back to point 2, where is that levy? When are we applying it? Have we applied it? Are we going to apply it? That will alleviate this necessity for another 160 million in this direction. And this is another one that's concerning the finance department. They've moved money around from posts that are not filled to sustain 966,000 rand in overtime to process the seized estates, and 893,000 to catch up on the backlog on rates clearance certificates. That's a backlog that was created within the department. We know for a fact that there were people sitting there for 6 months that not processed one. Now we are putting 893 million towards getting those backlogs cleared. The next one is pool chemicals. 1.6 million moved around taken away from alien vegetation because apparently the city has less complaints of alien vegetation that needs to be eradicated. Surely we didn't have pools from yesterday. We know that there's pools. How come we didn't budget for chemicals for those pools from the beginning? Now we're taking from Paul to go to Peter or the other way around. Fire department. 14 million rand for overtime instead of filling posts. You can only give a person so much overtime and then he drops dead. We need to fill the posts. And the last one, 81 million for police overtime. And the reason being to give escort services to other departments, festive season duties, and then VIP protection for political and office bearers. Which has one wonder, could we maybe not recover some of that money? Because if you look at the fleet of VIP vehicles parked at the bottom, you can barely get access to the door. One would have to ask those that are using those, political office bearers as well as officials, they receive a locomotion allowance, yet they are driving around in vehicles funded by the municipality. So maybe if we transfer that locomotion allowance into that pool, then maybe we can cover some of this 81 million, because it's absolutely ludicrous. You cannot be double dipping. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Councillor Kavenda.
Thank you, Speaker. Can you restart the clock? There's simply insufficient time for us to debate the number of shortfalls that we find in this budget. Firstly, the allocation of the almost 200 million rand for overtime is a glaring indication of the municipality's reliance on temporary solutions rather than addressing the root cause of staff shortages. And this excessive overtime expenditure compared to the significant number of vacant posts is significant. It highlights a mismanagement of resources that could be better utilized to fill permanent positions and improve service delivery. We look at the failed RMS system, which is again going to cost us another 23 million rand, looking at litigation expenses amounting to 12 million rand, and additionally the allocation of only 300 million rand for electricity. What are we expecting to turn around with only 300 million rand? Now, this leaves the city vulnerable to more power outages and more disruptions, as we faced yesterday, which was a case in point. Looking at 161 million rand allocated for water tankers underscores the ongoing issues we have with water supply in eThekwini. The municipality's uncollected debt is another issue that prevents us from having a sustainable budget and sustainable solutions. This budget fails to address the critical issues facing our city. It does not provide a sustainable path forward. The reliance on overtime, management of resources, uncollected debt, constant reprioritization of funds are clear indicators of a flawed budget. This is a Band-Aid budget. It's wholly insufficient, and it is simply a rinse and repeat. We are not going to see anything tangible on the streets, while the city spin doctors will no doubt say these are progressive. We cannot accept this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Kavenda. Councillor Kosi.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, colleagues and officials. Let me start by addressing the issue of water adjustment, so then people will not go out and start to mislead people. We wanted to boost sanitation because sanitation was under budgeted. But also when you look down, you will see that there are projects for metering, transsewer, boreholes installation, alternative sanitation, and wastewater treatment expansion. Now, in the absence of the infrastructure, Honourable Speaker, which requires billions of rands, we have to use a temporary solution, which is hiring of tankers. But we are saying, as a municipality and also as a cluster, we need to buy our own while we're still trying to reach the destination of repairing the infrastructure. Most of the project we adjusted because of the delays in the project. So we cannot just sit with the money instead of moving it where it is needed. For example, cleansing and solid waste, when you look at the landfill site at Nchongweni, it's the same thing. But, Honourable Speaker, that doesn't mean that people must grandstand about this. You remember you received a notice of motion. The same DA was saying we must adjust the budget. But today I can assure you they will not gonna support the adjustment budget. But they will be the first one to issue the statement to say there is no water, there is this and that, there is this and that. So you don't know what DA is looking actually in this seat. I thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Nkosi. Councillor Ndlovu.
Thank you, Somlomo. Somlomo, ngale adjustment budget, we want to say niyabono. Somlomo, today we are meeting immediately after having lost impilo zabantu abayisithupha kuLamontville ngenxa yezikhukhula. And some of these issues zeyikhukhula akuzona izinto engaziki, izinto abantu ade belokhu becomplaina ngazo, ezinye ezemhosha engalungisiwe okuyiyona that impacts empilweni zabantu. And again, want to say, even after those people have complained, nothing has been done, niyabono. In April 2022, floods under the very same ANC-led municipality, we lost lives again of the poor and the vulnerable in eThekwini. 4,000 people were left homeless. Some are still missing even today. 4,500 people were left unemployed. Some have not recovered even today. Hambuye enhlungwane uzobona abantu that were dislocated, who lost their houses. Today they are still do not have those houses. Basahlala emjondolo namanje. And again, babakhelwe izindlu by the very same municipality endaweni eyayicaca ngokusobala ukuthi wangafanele ngabe bakhelwa khona izindlu. And today basalala emnyango. Abanye basagcwele emafletini namanje have not been placed in terms of bathole izindlu. We're hoping that this budget, adjustment budget, can at least intervene in some of the infrastructure projects in terms of making sure that it intervenes on those critical matters in making sure that abantu base eThekwini bayakwazi ukuthi balungiseleke. The reduced 50 million water budget is unacceptable. The issue of water tankers, again, as the EFF, we're against it. We reject that because the municipality should be building its own capacity in terms of buying its own water tankers rather than the mafia that it is using. Today, we're sitting with close to 800 million that must be paid by this municipality from water tankers. And where is that money going to come from? The increased overtime and the failure to employ. Again, you can't be telling me that you are saving when you have not employed our people, when young people out there do not have employment. More than 20.6% of people in eThekwini are unemployed, and we pride ourselves by saving money from unemployed or permanent vacancies not being filled. The continuous usage of private security while...
Time is up. Kazakbega.
Honorable Speaker, Action SA understands the importance of approving the adjustment budget. However, we have concerns regarding adjustments made kwamanye ama-unity afana no water njengomasipala wethu onezingqinamba eziningi eziwuhlasele. Ngenxa yokusweleka kwamanzi ezindaweni eziningi zeTheku, ngibala ukuthi ongathi uMlazi nakoNanda okuchaza ukuthi this unit need more budget ukuze ihlangabezane nezidingo zabantu. Speaker, we acknowledge the adjustment made regarding sanitation, which we believe it might resolve some of the issues of sewerage in which isetshenziswa ngendlela efanelekile to avoid ukugijimisana kwethu ezinkantolo. Speaker, Action SA feels ukuthi some of these adjustments will not resolve some of the serious issues we are facing in our city, especially simo sokusweleka kwamanzi. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Kubheka. Councillor Pillay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the DLC wants to bring this entire debate of the adjustment budget into perspective.
The DA must understand, and the people need to know out there, that this is a debate on the adjustment budget, not on the main budget. Now, an adjustment budget is whereby one will look at the need to realign the main budget in line with the current emergencies and urgencies. And currently, the issues are water, electricity outages. There are thousands of people who do not have water, do not have electricity, and this adjustment budget seeks to address that. And we need to understand that. Also, the adjustment budget speaks to the concerns raised by the Auditor General at our meeting last month. And it's something that the city has taken cognizance of. So this adjustment budget addresses infrastructure developments and how people need to know that the main budget doesn't need certain things at a time, so we're adjusting it now. The DLC supports this adjustment budget because of the development for our people at large. Thank you.
Freedom Front Plus.
Speaker, although water makes up the biggest part of this budget, we cannot cut water from this budget. We have a water crisis. We need to prioritize issues. This, coupled with the biggest burden of overtime, just shows the failure of the RMS system to manage our affairs. These systems need to be consolidated to see an overall view of the city's finances with regard to spending across spheres to enable prioritizing as required by MSCOA. The same goes for cleansing and solid waste. Our river quality is atrocious and diarrhea can kill with high levels of E. coli in our waters. Electricity revenue is in crisis. It needs critical attention and not budget cuts. Close on the heels of overtime at 200 million, whilst we have unfilled vacancies, is contractor maintenance and litigation. We have offered local solutions, but common sense is not forthcoming. As the ANC knows, it will reveal their flaws of mismanagement if we have comprehensive data integration insights. 23 million for consultation fees for our revenue management system and a 377 million reduction in the public transport network grant. Fix the system.
Councillor Mkhize.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Greetings to you, Speaker, and the Deputy Mayor. Speaker, it is important, I think, that the Council should note the attitude of the DA taking from the previous item, that their attitude, it means that they cannot adhere to the accountability at any longer. And the DA supported councillors who did not call public meetings to inform the community, and the DA voted against the ethics committee. It was important, Speaker, that maybe one pass through that. Thank you, Speaker.
No, Councillor Mkhize is not speaking to the item at hand. He must stick to the item that we're dealing with now.
Okay. Councillor Mkhize, you're still on the floor. Confine yourself on the item.
Thanks, Speaker. Sibonge, self-appointed Deputy Speaker. Speaker,
Yes, Councillor Mkhize.
Yes, Speaker.
We are now forfeiting your right to speak. Councillor Madlala.
Thank you very much.
Order.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I stand to support what Councillor Mkhize was saying and want to proceed by saying issues that were raised by honorable members in this council. One is that the withdrawal of the transport grant raised by Councillor Pietre is not as a result of any failure of any of us seated here or in this municipality, but the matter has been presented to all of us and we know about it, but Councillor Pietre seeks to mislead the public by not sharing the truth. The truth is that we all know that there is a disagreement between ourselves and the national government around the model that needs to be utilized in terms of the BRT. One of the issues that is still being negotiated is that the model that they used in other cities was that the industry owns the majority stake in the process. And as a city, we were saying we want to have a majority stake so that we can have control on the processes that are ongoing there. The disagreement is around that, but negotiations are still in place to try and resolve those. And that is the reason why the grant is being resolved, is being withdrawn. It's by no fault of anyone among us here. We know very well that the taxi industry and other industries in our city are uniquely placed, and they act uniquely to other municipalities, and therefore our unique experience needs to be taken on board when discussing these issues so that we don't apply a one-size-fits-all but a solution that works for our city. Secondly, the infrastructure levy which is charged on each bill is money that is ring-fenced. It was canvassed with all the areas, and it was agreed that we are going to levy just a small fee to set aside for infrastructure development. And that money is still in place, and that money is still being used. However, we will not see the progress because we have had the calamity where since 2017, we've had recurring floods. And therefore, our infrastructure keeps breaking, and the money keeps getting utilized to recover. And therefore, we will not see the impact going forward. But the money is there, and the money is doing what it's set aside to do. Going forward, the issue of the police overtime is justified expenditure to enhance public safety. This cost includes necessary functions such as departmental escorts. When there is an outage of electricity in our townships, our electricity vehicles, when they are responding to that, they are getting robbed, they are getting hijacked. And therefore, the police escort becomes necessary to ensure that we are responding in time to these outages. Because if we don't respond and we are saying there's no electricity and we'll only come tomorrow because we are scared, then the very same councillors who are sitting here and blaming us for the overtime are going to say the municipality is non-responsive. And therefore, we know. Secondly, we had one of the most successful festive seasons in years this year. And it was due, among other things, to the police visibility that was all over, and that overtime was justified for a safe festive season that we did. And going forward in other holidays, we must employ the same strategy. If we go to our communities and tell them that this overtime was for that, they will say, you've done well. Thirdly, the Expanded Public Works Program, the EPWP, that program used to be funded by grants to the tune when we came to council, I think it was around 98 million rands. This year around, it's only 18 million that was provisioned. A lot of, when there was a cut down, a lot of the beneficiaries lost their livelihood. The program is being wound down to a point where it's going to be a number of beneficiaries equal to the grant itself. But this is probably the last year where we are winding down. There's an exit plan that we are sticking to, which is being reported to all councillors, and all councillors are participating. But someone will come here and pretend they don't know just to deceive the community. Lastly, the issue of the pools. You know that money has been taken away since COVID-19. Money was being taken away from your social services clusters to make way to prioritize your service delivery departments like your water, your electricity, in terms of recovery. Now, when you do that, you only rely on adjustment to cover the cost of things that are emerging from there. There was a brouhaha about a pool in beachfront which was without water. And when we were trying to justify that, yes, it's without water because we've taken the budget and used it elsewhere, we couldn't tell people who were victims of floods that, no, we will not help you because we are putting money aside for the swimming pool. Now, later on, the very same people who understood why the money was taken away were the first one in the firing line blaming us for being irresponsible when the pool was. So that is why we are prioritizing all the aspects of the municipality. Lastly, Speaker, the adjustment budget is a necessary tool to address these financial realities, ensuring that the essential service continues, critical infrastructure is maintained, and key programs are sustained despite these fiscal constraints. The ANC supports the adjustment budget. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Deputy Mayor with a 3-minute donated vote by the ANC.
Thank you, Somlomo. As National Freedom Party, we support this adjustment budget because we believe that it addresses some of the challenges that are confronting our people. And it is also paramount when we zoom into the adjustment budget, we also understand the processes because it makes our debate to have substance. But however, as Somlomo, while an operation budget of over 400 million has been allocated and set aside to address the ongoing challenges on non-revenue water, including fixing water leakages, and also 450 million has been allocated to respond to the electricity fault. Over 146 million of capital budget has been allocated across various units within the municipality to accelerate the service delivery, which is our core mandate, in particular on water and electricity provision. I thought colleagues, they were going to clap hand on that regard because njoba sihlela abantu bakithi, they are still facing ama issues, kakhulukazi ka water and also electricity. But however, some parties, they feel ukuthi this is the time for grandstanding. Okwenza uzibuza ukuthi who are they representing in this municipality? As the leadership of the city will also continue to monitor this budget implementation closely because it is paramount that all these projects which are in line, they do serve the purpose even in terms of value for money. Somlomo kuyadabukisa ke kakhulu ukuthi uma sihlanganela sizobuka lolu hlahlomali sigcine sesizuma into ama issues amanye adalwe umdali like ama flats. Siyavumelana ukuthi muningi umsebenzi kusafanele siwenze ukulungisa kakhulu infrastructure yethu siqhubekele phambili kodwa amanye issues Somlomo ikakhulukazi makhambe abantu bakithi awadinga ukuthi senze grandstanding. Kubalekile ke futhi ukuthi siqhubeke siushayele izandla umetropolis ngemsebenzi omuhle owenzayo into overtime Somlomo and other platforms nayo kuyodinga ukuthi ozakwethu sike sibafakele iclass bazi ukuthi ngempela masikhuluma ngeovertime sikhuluma ngani ngoba sihlezi la uma ubheka even business confidence inyukile kakhulu uma ubuka ukuthi umetropolis usebenze kanjani kulesikhathi esiphuma kulosona esama holiday kodwa ke sithi abaqhubekele phambili nokusebenza sithi nale overtime aqhubeke the office ka CM kube khona ama measures azokwenza ukuthi ngempela overtime isebenze ngendlela okuyiyona umsebenzi uqhubeke sithi lelo hlahlomali ludira direct nezinto ngempela ezikhuka abantu ebantwini and siyafisa futhi Somlomo ukuthi siqhubeke kakhulu nokuthi udaba lwa water siqhubeke nokuthi strategy sisebenzise Somlomo siyayisupporta lo hlahlomali siyabonga.
Thank you, councillors, for those input. Recommendations are on page 9 in our second supplementary agenda. They're on page 9. Are the recommendations as they appear on page 9 agreed, councillors?
No.
The abstain is in opposing.
That is the DA.
Freedom Front abstains.
Councillors, so that we are recording properly, DA is voting against.
That's correct.
Okay.
ACTP against.
As usual.
Freedom Front Plus abstain.
Action SA abstain.
Right, let's do this. Let's do this. Those who are in support of the recommendation, please raise your votes.
Abathola amanzi abantu.
Siyameda nomncwango lapho.
Abathola amanzi abantu.
Hlangana.
Abathola amanzi abantu.
Yeah, shin.
Ungabunyambozi kuhlala lapho.
Kodwa mfundisi abazali bangaphuza amanzi. Kubheka.
Zadliwe zikapapsi.
Abathola amanzi abantu.
Liyadliwe iphupho.
Dini socialism.
Phezu kwakho upapsi.
Sadliwe ka Trump. Akunamuntu.
Manje
Socialism.
bathi umthetho applyele kubo Stevie Wonder.
So we are allowed to sing while we're voting.
Thank
Total
you.
disrespect.
Thank you. Can do your report. Those who are voting against, please raise your hands.
Oh.
IDA ithi proud labantu abangawathola amanzi.
Upapsi.
Umthetho neyibuko.
Ezikapapsi madoda.
Thank you. Ningehlisa, those who abstain. Those who abstain.
Isiwasho uzosakha ngani yakubheka.
Thank you very much. Those who are in support of the recommendations, the number is 117. Those who are against the recommendations, the number is 46. There's only one person who have abstained. Therefore, the recommendations will be carried through with the majority support of the votes. Thank you very much.
Zadliwe kapapsi.
Let's move. We were on adjustment budget. We are now going to item 2.1. 2.1. Yeah, the deputy mayor will, let me check the item. The deputy mayor will table the report.
Thank you, Honorable Somlomo. Allow me to table the first report in the main agenda. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. Let me check my speakers on this item on 2.1. City Manager, can you please read the item?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The first report of the Executive Committee from their meeting, which was held on the 18th of the 2nd, 2025, is the report in 2.1, named the request for authority to advertise reviewed 2025-2026 Municipal Spatial Development Framework for stakeholder consultation process. Committee recommends.
Yeah, thank you. There are three speakers. Councillor Vim Kize, DA, Councillor N Kize, EFF, Councillor P Ndlovu, ANC. In that order, Councillor Mkize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In fact, Councillor K. Vim Kize would like to do an amendment on the item, Speaker.
Councillor Mkize, can you repeat that?
Councillor Mkize would like to submit or do an amendment.
Uyazi ukuthi Mkhize awuzwakali nje wena. Kulungile kodwa ke asithathe umfweni lo we-EFF akukhave.
Speaker, no, I was saying our request to do an amendment. It was submitted yesterday to the office of the Speaker. Yes.
It's fine. Bring the amendment. I don't have that amendment here. I don't have the amendment currently. Can you please fill up the form?
Okay. Speaker, while I'm about to fill up the form, can I read the
Yes, you
amendment in the
can,
meantime?
so that council can hear.
Okay. Thank you very much, Speaker. While the DA supports the initiative on this item, but the amendment, Speaker, we like to do on page 19, after the word says land development decisions, to add
On page 19,
first paragraph, after the word,
paragraph 2.1.2.
no, Speaker. Paragraph 1, after the word decisions.
Yeah, Councillor Mkhize, I want to guide council properly. We are on page 19 in the main agenda.
Correct.
Page 19, there's a conclusion of the recommendation from page 18, but appella to page 19. There are two sentences. After that is 2.1.2. Where are you referring to as to for amendment?
On those last two sentences on page 19, Speaker, after the word decisions.
Okay. On the recommendations.
Yes.
Okay. It means on the top of the page where land development decisions.
Correct.
Okay. Can you proceed?
So, Speaker, the amendment we like to submit is to add the following: that such process to include the publications of suitable notices in suburb newspapers, which are distributed for free in most suburbs areas.
Okay. Can I have the form, please?
Asimzwanga Speaker.
Mzwanga.
Akazwakali.
Yeah. Le microphone yakho.
Engathi yona nenkinga, Speaker.
Amanye amakhansela engathi akezwa kahle, but xa form uyithumela.
Athi uyiqhelise emlomeni.
Angasondeli kakhulu. No.
Well, they were anticipating, but then about cancer. What we suspended? Kanjani?
Yeah. Thank you very much. Councillor Mkhize, I will read your proposed amendment so that councillors understand. The proposed amendment, page 19, at the end of the second sentence.
Speaker. Speaker, there's someone.
2.1, page 19.
There's someone in the gallery, Speaker.
Now let's read this proposed amendment. In fact, it's an addition.
Speaker Ubalo. Speaker.
It's an addition to that sentence, which said, such process to include the publication of suitable notices in suburbs, newspapers, which are distributed for free in most suburbs. In fact, Kabazada, to get the addition to the recommendation, right?
Oh.
Is the proposed amendment agreed?
No.
Okay. Thank you, right? So that we are procedural. Order, councillors. Those who are against the proposed amendments, please raise your vote. Those who are voting against,
Asikayizwa somlomo.
Osamkhaya,
ale muva.
Nanginomthetho wephakamiso la.
Phakamisa kwana.
Point of order, Speaker.
Nimbale
Start
nomthetho.
voting first.
No. Before
Nimbale
voting, Speaker.
nomthetho uphakamisile.
Before voting, Speaker.
Speaker. No.
Let me finish the voting. I will take your hands.
Speaker. But Speaker, the
Boss, of
proposal of
course.
the amendment must motivate why we should support the amendment. He hasn't
No,
done that.
I've allowed him already.
To motivate, no, it didn't.
No one.
I did
I'll
that.
call
No, it
you.
did not.
You
You
are
are
allowed.
not noticed.
I allowed him.
No. You allowed him to tell you what the amendment is.
Balumthetho uphakamisile.
Order. Are we done with the votes?
Yes.
Chair, we don't see.
Order. No noise. I will address the concern from DA. There's a concern from DA. I will respond after we're done with this
We are
part.
voting
We are taking those who are against.
against.
There's nothing wrong with mix and calling up and getting honking as your vote. Are we done, Secretary? Okay, thank you.
The Speaker.
Order. The concern from DA, from Councillor Mcheto, is that the proposer of the amendment was not given a chance to present the amendment. I'm saying that's not true.
No, to motivate, not to present.
Because Councillor Mkhize,
Speaker,
when he,
no, you are misleading.
when he was recognized.
No, you are
Order.
misleading. You are misleading. I
Order.
did not talk about presenting.
Councillor Mkhize,
I spoke about
I said
motivating.
Order. I said to Councillor
No, but you are out
Mkhize,
of order, Speaker.
Mkhize, order. Before you fill up the form, he asked me, Speaker, can I speak? Speaker, can I speak while I'm waiting to fill up the form? I then said, Councillor Mkhize, please proceed. He then spoke on the proposed amendment and filled the form later. Those who are in support of the proposed amendment, raise your hands.
Speaker, order.
Yes, Councillor Ngwengwe.
No, somlomo.
Point of order, Speaker.
Kwi-board kukhomba ukuthi abakade be against bayayisupporta. If we can correct that, thank you.
Okay, you see what happened? It's pretty. The problem is the way you speak, right? Angingokujwayelekile mesivota siqala ngaba in support kodwa mesiqala ngabajija bajijeka. Bengicabanga ukuthi bazo understand. Bengicabanga ukuthi bazo understand ukuthi uspeaker make over indlela yokuvota. Bona bayikhave bafake lawo mavoti lapho ngibe ngibiza amanye. Yabo kusho ukuthi asikhonekthi kahle uma ngiphuma baphuma bona. Kanti kumele balandele mina. Right, uma sithi against amavoti akaye lapho. But let's do this ukuze ngayiqove meeting. Sorry about that. Let's start afresh. So that we follow a traditional way of voting.
Somlomo.
Those who are in support of the proposed amendment as proposed by Councillor Mkhize,
Somlomo.
please raise your board
No, Speaker,
so that we are procedural.
but you are still not procedural. You have not afforded Councillor Mkhize an opportunity
Which
to
rule
motivate.
are you rising on?
I'm
Those rule.
Which rule are you rising on?
Councillor Mchetwa, Councillor Mkhize has been afforded a chance to speak. Those who want to support the proposed amendment, please raise your board.
Then Zovota, we're not going to participate in this sham.
Okay, thank you. Those who abstain. Away should I tell the boy what Clemens was on the message that only do I say paper. You're fully the head. Councillor Pillay, can you tell us your votes? Councillor Pillay?
Oh, I'm against the reference or the amendment. Yes.
Councillor from Freedom Front Pass?
We also abstain.
You abstain?
Abstain, Speaker.
Okay, thank you. Can we indicate, Councillor Mtetwa, your votes? The DA whether abstain against so that we record?
We indicate that we're not participating in this mess.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Po beni rezelani
Yeah,
amendment.
it means they abstain.
Beni rezelani amendment.
We are not abstaining, we're just not
You are-
participating.
Yeah, but no, I'm telling you.
let's withdraw it.
Listen, order, councillors. We can argue about terms or English. If you don't participate, that is abstinence. Simple English, simple English. If you don't vote, you abstain.
Agreed.
No.
Yeah.
Agreed. You abstain.
You abstain.
You abstain.
Speaker. What are you doing?
It's either you're in support or against or you abstain.
You abstain. Lezibuko lesi.
Can you let her know?
It's a walk out inside.
Ayikho la kule council ithethi we don't participate. You can't introduce new terms here. There's no such we don't participate. You will participate. If you don't vote, I will vote for you. You abstain.
Point of order.
If they don't want to
Point of order.
participate, they must go out.
Asdal pay I'm telling.
Point of
We don't
order.
pay here. We are working here.
If they don't want to participate,
Order.
Point of order.
kick him out.
Point of order. Point of order.
Ukhalelani pho? Why are you
Point
crying?
of
ma'am?
order.
Why are you crying? And what rule? What rule?
Point of order, Speaker.
Point of order.
What rule?
You
What
said you
rule?
don't want to participate. What point of
Don't
order
cry,
now?
Mlungu.
You must remember to call community meetings when.
I do. Regularly. Dozens of them. About 20 last year.
Hey.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
You said you don't want to participate.
Order. Order.
Umhlangano umphakathi.
Now,
Point of order, Speaker.
order, councillors. Currently, the team is tallying the numbers after the voting process. Now, there's no need for you to raise any point of order because there's no item in council under discussion. Let's allow this process to be finished.
Awusomlomo.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Right? Order, councillors.
Yes, please. Point of order.
Order.
On the order, we item and participate.
Right, councillors, in terms of those who were in support of the proposed amendment, there was none, 0. Those who voted against, the number was 106. Those who abstained, the number is 59. Therefore, the amendment has been rejected. Councillor
Point of order. Point of
let's
order.
go back to the substantive item.
Point of
Kiza,
order.
you're on the floor.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker, please.
Don't shout.
No, you have to shout to get his attention.
Don't
Point
shout.
of order,
Right,
please,
order,
Mr. Speaker.
order, order, order.
Kune-auction.
Point of order. Order, councillors, order.
The point of order.
Order, so that I can listen.
But he mustn't shout at us.
Order.
He must behave himself.
You can speak, councillor.
I will speak quietly, Mr. Speaker.
You
The
declare
point
no
of order.
participation.
I'm listening.
The point of order is that the vote you've just pretended to take was premature. The proposer of the motion, and I speak as the second of the motion, was not given an opportunity to explain the reason for the motion. And the test for that is simply this. Do you know why he proposed the amendment? And the answer for that is no, because you didn't give him the opportunity to explain the amendment. He actually tabled the motion in writing yesterday. Councillor Mkhize signed it yesterday. I seconded it. He handed it in. It's somewhere in the paperwork from yesterday's part of today's meeting. It could not be found. You asked him to write it out again. He spoke out the words that were going to be in the written document, but you have not yet given him an opportunity to motivate why he wants that to be included so that it goes to the newspapers that are distributed freely, not at municipal offices or by paid newspapers like the Daily News and the Mercury and other paid newspapers. That's the essence of the motivation which he wants to put to the whole of council so that council can think about why he proposes the amendment. And the reason is so that it gets...
Why are you making noise? Why noise?
Umthetho uyichazile lento manje ubona
Ubalo. Ubalo uthi umthetho ichazile lento.
Umthetho we-DA.
Order.
So in conclusion, the point of order.
But now we are now addressing the meeting. The point of order can't be more than 2 minutes.
I'm concluding now.
Can you please conclude?
I will. It's simply this. The vote you pretended to take just now was not a valid vote because you had not given the proposer of the motion an opportunity to motivate for the amendment. So please allow him a few minutes to do that and then take another vote. Thank you. That's my point of order.
Speaker.
No. I'm not taking hands now. Oh, listen, councillors. The proposed amendment, we've already voted on the matter. The matter is closed. We can't open the discussion on the proposed amendment. We are now back on the substantive item. Councillor Mkhize.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Although I'm sad that, Speaker, I was not offered an opportunity to motivate the amendment, but nevertheless is that the Democratic Alliance supports...
Order. Somlom.
Councillor Kwala.
Sacelo reflect isikhathi lapho ukuze sibe in time.
Okay, thank you for that. Can you display the time? Apologies, Kabazela, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Democratic Alliance supports the proposed item before the House. What we are requesting, as we understand the importance of this initiative, is that as the process is going to embark on a community stakeholders, the advertisement of the process not only be limited to 3 paid papers, which are Isolezwe, Mekri, and Daily News. The Democratic Alliance was making an appeal to the official and to the House that that process of advertising the special development framework be also extended to the free newspapers that are distributed in communities, so that even if anyone cannot afford at a particular time to pay for the particular newspapers that are currently being used by the municipality on these processes, but they can still able to offer an opportunity to see this process when it's been tabled for the stakeholders' information. While we also understand, the Speaker, that at the end of that process, the special development will come back to the council meeting for an approval. That was what the Democratic Alliance was asking to be included, so that everybody around the city would be offered an opportunity to able to be part of this engagement. I thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Councillor Mkhize. Councillor N. Mkhize, EFF.
Covered, Speaker.
Councillor Anipen, IFP.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the IFP has long held the view that spatial planning and development should be a tool for redress. It was indeed a mechanism used by the apartheid regime to dispossess the black majority of land, which perhaps has been the ultimate expression of wealth in itself. However, today, the idea of redress must go beyond simply access to land. It must seek to achieve the goals of a democratic society that meets the needs of all people as they present themselves from time to time. To this end, it is our contention that the SDF must take into account the needs of critical socio-economic development and moral regeneration. Land must also be made available to faith-based organizations, civil society organizations, sporting federations, and public benefit organizations to help make our city a safer and more livable one. The city faces an enormous challenge of the scourge of drug abuse, with youngsters having no rehabilitation facilities available to them. The elderly and vulnerable groups need shelters for protection against brutality and abuse. Faith-based organizations, this being churches, temples and mosques and other institutions, are central to the moral regeneration question in our city and must also be given access to land so that they can establish much-needed facilities to provide social justice services, family crisis centers, teenage awareness programs, and the like. The policy must aim to achieve a broader, more comprehensive goal, one that helps to shape our city into a caring and more livable one. To this end, we encourage the public to participate in the consultation process and make their recommendation known in this regard. We also encourage faith-based organizations, civil society, and other institutions to participate in the program. The IFP gladly supports this recommendation. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Annepen. Councillor Pindlovu, ANC.
Thank you, Somlomo, Bingelele Gwena, the Honorable Deputy Mayor, and Onkama Councillor present. The SDF is a key land use management tool which informs strategic choices and intervention, especially regarding the future growth and development of a municipality. And it has important role to play guiding and managing decision making relating to the use of development and planning of land. In engaging the document, once it's released to the public comment, all stakeholders must take note that the SDF has the following benefits. It facilitates effective use of scarce land resources. It facilitates decision-making regarding the location of service delivery project, and it also guides public and private sector investment. It promotes and coordinates on spatial issues. The ANC supports this item for its release for public participation, and during this period, the SDF will also be presented to all portfolio committees for their input, and we'd like to encourage all chairpersons to create space for the adequate engagement to take place. As I learned, Speaker, I hear that from the DA, and it was also raised in the committee that they're saying we must expand to advertise also in public newspapers. I think one of the reasons why you need to approve budgets is for such things, because we had said it's not an issue to expand, but it was an issue of budget constraint. So I think this is where we learn a lesson of approving budget. Once we approve a budget on marketing, then we'll not have such issues. I thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor Ndlovu. Councillors, we are on page 17, item 2.1. Are the recommendations agreed? Agreed. Thank you very much, City Manager. Let's move to item 2.2. I think it's page 19. Can you confirm that?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Yes, I wish to confirm that item 2.2 is amongst the items that are statutory and need to be dealt with. The item is a request for authority to advertise reviewed eThekwini Municipal Land Use Scheme comprising sub-scheme areas, Central, North, South, Inner West and Outer West. Committee recommends.
There's only one speaker here from EFF, Councillor Nyembezi. Councillor Nyembezi.
Ngibonga Somlomo, ngibingelela amakhansela, staff, all protocol observe. We as an EFF support the review of land use scheme as it presents an opportunity to address historical injustice and promote more equitable land use practices. We acknowledge the need for comprehensive review of the land use scheme to ensure that it aligns with municipality developmental objectives and the needs of our communities. We believe that this review can help to unlock economic opportunities, promote social cohesion, and enhance the overall quality of life for our residents. However, we are concerned about the current state of land use in our municipality, particularly with regards to the land occupation by those who do not have legitimate rights to the land. Lapa at Alpani Road, Brickfield, what they do next to duty, Kunendia Lapa that took municipality land, Lawenza Wall, and Likokisa Bandu bag thousands of friends every month. Les Zumbulu is Kokisa without municipality knowledge. Imagine how many hours out there. We urge the municipality to prioritize the resolution of these land use conflicts and to develop strategies for addressing the complex issues surrounding informal settlement. We suggest that the municipality establish a transparent and accountable process for evaluating public comments and input, and that it provides regular update on the progress of the review. Inhlangano ye-EFF isimisele kakhulu ukuthi umhlaba wethu wachitha igazi eliningi ukubawona bakithi mandulo ubalisebenzela abakithi ngayo yonke indlela. By supporting the review of the land use scheme, we are demonstrating our commitment to responsible governance and willingness to engage in constructive debate.
Thank you very much, Councillor Nyembezi. Councillors, are the recommendations on item 2.2 agreed? Thank you. We will now move to item 3.6 is on page
27.
27, eh?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Item 3.6 on page 27, noting reasons to amend contract number 1Z-2028 in terms of section 1163 of the Local Government Municipal Finance Management Act of 2003 for the appointment of a panel of accredited training providers to render accredited training for various technical trades. Committee recommends.
Only 2 speakers, IFP, Councillor Jane Naidu, ANC, Councillor N. Madlala. Only 2 speakers. Councillor Jane.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, the unemployment rate in eThekwini is at astronomical levels, while service delivery is severely compromised for various reasons, notwithstanding a poor work ethic from municipal staff. In supporting this recommendation, the IFP deposits the following recommendations. The LG CETA grants must be utilized strategically for positive and meaningful outcomes to not only empower the local youth, but to make sure that the investment will reap dividends in turning around the delivery of services, especially so within the technical services sector. The selection criteria for the beneficiaries of the program should be purposed not only on training, but also on retaining young people and deploying these trade graduates into wards that are hard hit. An addition of 56 dedicated artisans in electrical, mechanical, and welding fields can fill gaps if channeled effectively. The IFP further proposes that the Municipal Academy conducts a thorough research in identifying strategic projects such as the Mkomazi Dam, identify skill sets needed, and train ward-based youth to be equipped for this project. True empowerment of people cannot take place if locals are only offered general or peace jobs. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. As the ANC, we want to voice our support for this report. This report outlines the reason for the amendment of the said contract in terms of section 1163 of the MFMA. The amendment is necessitated by the change in the funding conditions set by the Local Government Sector Education and Training Authority, LGCETA, which have resulted in the additional financial support for the training of more apprentices, and we appreciate the support received. The key considerations for this report are as follows. 1, the LGCETA has issued an award letter granting an additional 1.9 million rands for the training. 2, the funding allows for the training of 20 additional electrical apprentices at an increased cost of up to 32,000 per person. The original contract, which fixed prices for 36 months, must be amended to accommodate these changes. The implications are that failure to amend the contract would result in the municipality forfeiting the additional funding. This would negatively impact service delivery and the municipality's effort to equip local youth in technical skills for professional employment and self-sustainability. As the ANC, we support this report and we take note of the input by the IFP around the interventions and the areas that Emma must explore. We support the report as the ANC. Thank you.
Speaker.
Thank you very much.
Speaker.
Councillor Mthetho.
Cha kunodaba nje ngifisa ukuthi uSpeaker alinote. Sekuze kwaba kabili lapha ama ukhongolose uzokhuluma unikezwe u13 minutes kanti isikhathi kakhongolose u12 abanga edelwa iminute abangenalo.
Okay, now we know that the team will have to attend to that. I never noticed this thing. Councillors, page 27. No. Page 27, item 3.6. Are the recommendation agreed? For noting, noted. Thank you very much. Yes, now we are on item 4, page 29. City Manager.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. On page 29, it's item 4, noting reasons to amend contract number 1A 4813 in terms of section 1163 of the Local Government Municipal Finance Management Act of 2003 for leasing of various councillors' offices. Committee recommends.
Thank you, City
Noted.
Manager. There are few speakers. Councillor Kavenda, DA.
Noted.
Councillor B. Dlamini, EFF. Councillor Anipen. And Councillor Madlala, ANC. In that order, Councillor Kavenda.
Thank you, Speaker. Councillors' offices has been a long-standing impediment to many councillors for the last 2 terms. Now, given the extraordinary challenges that the eThekwini municipality faces, it is unimaginable how a councillor is expected to function from either the boot of their cars or a makeshift information table, sometimes under an umbrella or gazebo on the side of the street or road. Now, this smacks of unprofessionalism, which is no fault of the councillor, as it renders a councillor unable to perform much of the administrative work that they are obliged to carry out. And we all know that eThekwini municipality has faced a myriad of challenges in securing private-owned office facilities for councillors, either at ward level, due to landlords not complying with the supply chain management processes. But this has been happening for far too long. Now, this issue and this item highlights the complexity and the bureaucratic hurdles involved in ensuring that councillors have the necessary office spaces and tools, because with an office comes a printer, comes a telephone, and comes the administrative tools that will enable a councillor to function in their communities. Now, some cases in point, just to illustrate how serious this is that some councillors have been waiting since 2018, the last term, for an office space. We're now in the 2nd term, and there's still no sight of such an office. Where you have councillors where the leases expire mid-term, it causes such an upheaval for another councillor who has experienced such to then find space and continue work in the community. The lack of private space has forced some of us to accept matchbox-sized offices where you can barely fit in a table and a chair. There's zero waiting room, zero privacy, because you must admit that certain business that a councillor conducts with a consumer should be done in a private space, because some of them come to us with financially distressing matters. It also prohibits a councillor from dealing with municipal business that might be privileged in terms of virtual meetings that we sometimes hold, or other meetings where we have officials coming to us to conduct meetings. We also need to look at the structural integrity of some of these offices. You know, we've had one councillor who was eventually given a municipal-based office after 7 years. A week later, the roof caved in over the desk that the councillor was supposed to be sitting in, fortunately without injuries. And currently, 1 year later, the door fell out of that office. The windows cannot open. That councillor is myself. Now, here we go. We have offices that are infested with wood borers. We've had another councillor who's had to use an office in a municipal facility where his office has been flooded twice because he's had no option but to occupy a basement in a municipal facility. Now, we must agree that this is unacceptable. Given these difficulties, and you know, I have a list and we can go on, but we have time constraints, it would be important to explore alternative solutions or improvements to the SEM processes to facilitate the leasing of compliant office facilities. This could involve working closely with landlords to understand and address their concerns, streamlining these SEM processes, or even considering temporary or modular office solutions. We urge municipal officials to display some sense of urgency when councillors contact them as well to expedite these issues that they have raised. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Dlamini.
Ngibonge, greetings, Speaker, City Manager, Honorable Councillors. Sikhuleke kumakhosazana aseNdlunkulu. Speaker, it is said that most councillors are not performing, and the reason to that, the offices of the Speaker is failing them. How so? Most councillors do not have offices. We were told to go and look for offices instructed by the Office of the Speaker. However, there were challenges in doing so. even though we were assisted by the person taxed by municipality. Speaker, we strongly believe that this is a political ploy led by the Office of the Speaker to prevent small parties to perform their duties. Speaker, every service delivery by councillors must all attributed to the Office of the Speaker and his failure to take councillors into confidence about the challenges facing his office. The term of office is ending and we have not been given any offices, Speaker, and you seem not to worry about it. And today we have to sit here noting that the offices must be extended. Can the Speaker take us serious and then go to wherever he has to go to find out what is happening with us not having offices, because we are failing to perform and servicing our people? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Dlamini. Councillor Anipen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the IFP is glad to see this item on the agenda. It is imperative for councillors to fulfill their responsibilities that they have access, in order for them to fulfill their responsibilities, that they have access to the tools of trade. Office spaces are just one example of such. I would strongly suggest, though, Mr. Speaker, that while making allowances for office space, your office go a little further in planning, this time especially, and look into actual furnishing of these offices. For example, I took occupancy of the current office I'm in February 2022. In November 2023, a very large and fancy office table and a printer was delivered to my office using a 20-ton truck. Note, just the table and the printer. So currently, for the last 3 odd years, community members and I stand across each other from this magnificent table between us, which is nothing but a centerpiece. Of course, Mr. Speaker, you are not ignorant to the challenges of this office issue, because both you and the manager of Councillor Support have been tormented with spurious emails from myself and others on the matter. Knowing well that this may be an unrelated matter to the subject, I thought that we'd use the platform to express this concern so that the public are aware that it is no fault of ours, that there are no chairs or other such provisions at our offices, but the failure of the Office of the Speaker and Councillor Support to fulfill its mandate to oversee the welfare of councillors, which is the reason for their discomfort, in some cases arthritis and vascular complications, which are resultant from standing for long periods. The IFP will support these recommendations, Mr. Speaker, but ask that you personally look into the matter and kindly arrange chairs, cupboards, and other tools of trade needed to satisfy the requirements of a councillor in order for us to perform our duties. I thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Anipen. Councillor Madlala, the last speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I want to try and restrict myself to what we have prepared and have mandated to speak to, but the temptation is there to respond to some of the issues raised by fellow councillors. One, we want to encourage whips of committees, and especially whips of parties, to use the available avenues to raise some of these issues, because we do not have to wait for a council meeting to raise issues of councillor offices.
Point of order, Speaker.
I'm not saying it's wrong to raise them, but I'm saying...
Speaker.
Madlala bothula sometimes, eh?
Point of order, Councillor Khambule.
Thank you, Speaker. I think Councillor Madlala is out of content when he's responding to the debates of councillors. He's supposed to debate as a council, not on responding. There is no one who gave him a mandate to respond on our issues that we are raising on our debate. So you must call him into order. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Councillor Madlala. Please confine yourself to the debate.
Speaker.
Okay, Councillor
Speaker
Teto.
Key.
Bengifuna ukukhombisa yona le sikhathi yabona manje 12 minutes 21 seconds because isikhathi sakhe siqale at 13 not at 12. Can that be addressed, please?
Time.
Awukanti uyabona.
Secretariat, please, can you correct that? I'm sure you hear the concern from the DA in terms of time. Councillor Madlala, proceed.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. We, as the ANC, want to support this item.
Speaker, the time is still running as over 12 minutes.
Oh, she minute,
No, but Councillor Calvin, why now we have to discuss time in council because the team is here, they are hearing your concern, they are responding to it.
I won't
How are they
even
responding
use,
if
I
they
won't
haven't
even use
fixed it,
half of
Speaker?
that time. So it's a mute debate.
Secretariat, can you come and tell me what is the issue with time? Can you come here?
I charge you for my time.
Thank you. Proceed, Madam.
We want to note that the current council term began on the 9th of November 2021, and the municipal legislation mandates that procurement contracts extend beyond the term requiring proper procedures. The council anticipates the term ending later than 28 February 2027, necessitating an extension of this contract. Procurement of new services mid-term could disrupt service delivery, as lamented by fellow councillors earlier. Procurement of new services mid-term could disrupt services and result in affecting negatively service delivery. To avoid this, it was necessary that this contract be amended. We want to support the amendment of the said contract, which allows for the continuation of the services beyond the said term of office. The extension will necessitated to cover the remaining term of council, and we want to support that. Lastly, Honourable Speaker, we want to remind members of this council that Councillor Madlala, among other things, is the chair of the governance committee, which is largely responsible, among other things, for the allocation of council offices. And therefore, when I speak here, I speak with a full mandate. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Madlala. Recommendations are on page 29, item 4. Are the recommendations agreed? Councillors for noting.
Noted.
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 Thank you. Now, this is the last item as per the arrangement, but the CFO has omitted item 2.4. Let's deal with item 2.4, then we close. Item 2.4, City Manager.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Item 2.4 is the review of tariffs for bulk fresh produce market. Committee recommends.
This is page 23, eh?
Page 23, yeah.
23, Councillor Pega, you want to propose an amendment. Are you still maintain that or you have changed your mind?
I've changed my mind, Speaker.
Thank you very much. Councillor Tipo, you are the first speaker. This is the last item. Councillor Tipo.
Speaker, Councillor Dubois is not present.
Okay, thanks to Councillor Madlala. Councillor Ndlovu, we are the only speaker on the item. Councillor Bill Ndlovu.
Covered, Speaker.
Covered.
Yes,
Councillors, are the recommendation agreed?
No.
Let's record the opposition from the DA.
Against.
Let's report that, please.
The MF is also against.
MF is against.
ACTP against.
Can you record that, please? It's recorded. Yeah, thank you very much, councillors. We have come to the end of our meeting. Please go be safely on the road. Thank you.
Ayekho kudla Speaker. Ayekho kudla.